You are watching the broadcast of the El Paso County Commissioners Court meetings. Commissioners Court meetings are held every Monday at 9:30 a.m. on the third floor of the El Paso County Courthouse, located at 500 East San Antonio in downtown El Paso. These meetings are open to the public. The meeting will start momentarily.
The Information Technology Department would like to remind users not to take the bait. Phishing is an attempt to obtain sensitive information such as usernames, passwords, and credit card details, often for malicious reasons by masquerading as a trustworthy entity in electronic communications. Phishing emails may contain links to websites that are infected with malware. Remember, do not open attachments or click on links from untrusted sources. Never send personal information in an email, and keep your firewall and antivirus software updated. Financial Recovery is a division under the Budget and Fiscal Policy Department. The Financial Recovery Division regains monies from those who have exhausted resources throughout the judicial process. The authorization for the recovery of spent resources is by court order. These are resources initially funded by taxpayers. Financial Recovery Division's goal is to assist in making the county and taxpayers whole by replenishing funds into the budget to optimize services to the public. For more information, please visit the El Paso County website. Did you know the County of El Paso has a YouTube channel? Go to youtube.com and search the County of El Paso, Texas. There, you will find videos highlighting some of the departments within the county. Don't forget to like our videos and subscribe to the channel.
The 346 District Court Judge Angie Juarez Barril started the El Paso Veterans Treatment Court program in 2012 for veterans and active service members that have been arrested and charged with a felony or misdemeanor criminal offense. To be considered for the specialty court, the statutory criteria includes be a veteran or current member of the United States Armed Forces, including a member of the Reserves, National Guard, or State Guard, and suffer from a brain injury, mental illness, or mental disorder, including PTSD, or be a victim of military sexual trauma, all occurring or resulting from military service. Call Sylvia Serna, Veterans Program Director, at 915-546-2119, or email her at sserna@epcounty.com for any information.
Commissioner Andrew Haggerty would like to invite you to his weekly breakfast meeting that takes place every Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. at Danny's Diner, located at 4690 Trans Mountain Road. Every week he has a different speaker who will be discussing topics of interest for the community. So if you live in the Northeast, West Side, or anywhere else in the county, come and join us for the breakfast meeting. As a reminder from the Information Technology Department, please don't save critical or sensitive data on your desktop. Instead, best practices is to save your data to your user-allocated home drive. This drive has safeguards preventing data loss. Again, this is an information technology-friendly reminder.
You are watching the broadcast of the El Paso County Commissioners Court meetings. Commissioners Court meetings are held every Monday at 9:30 a.m. on the third floor of the El Paso County Courthouse, located at 500 East San Antonio in downtown El Paso. These meetings are open to the public. The meeting will start momentarily. You are watching the broadcast of the El Paso County Commissioners Court meetings. Commissioners Court meetings are held every Monday at 9:30 a.m. on the third floor of the El Paso County Courthouse, located at 500 East San Antonio in downtown El Paso. These meetings are open to the public. The meeting will start momentarily.
The Information Technology Department would like to remind users not to take the bait. Phishing is an attempt to obtain sensitive information such as usernames, passwords, and credit card details, often for malicious reasons by masquerading as a trustworthy entity in electronic communications. Phishing emails may contain links to websites that are infected with malware. Remember, do not open attachments or click on links from untrusted sources. Never send personal information in an email, and keep your firewall and antivirus software updated. Financial Recovery is a division under the Budget and Fiscal Policy Department. The Financial Recovery Division regains monies from those who have exhausted resources throughout the judicial process. The authorization for the recovery of spent resources is by court order. These are resources initially funded by taxpayers. Financial Recovery Division's goal is to assist in making the county and taxpayers whole by replenishing funds into the budget to optimize services to the public. For more information, please visit the El Paso County website. Did you know the County of El Paso has a YouTube channel? Go to youtube.com and search the County of El Paso, Texas. There, you will find videos highlighting some of the departments.
Good morning, everyone. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. Thank you. The call for consent. The consent agenda is composed of items 3A through 3M. Kathleen Anderson from the Juvenile Probation Department would like to announce a correction to item 3E. As corrected, the item reads, approve and authorize the county judge on behalf of the El Paso County Juvenile Probation Department to sign the residential treatment services agreement as amended for juvenile placement with the Cameron County Juvenile Justice Department. This agreement has been reviewed and approved as to legal form by the County Attorney's Office. Funding is available in account SG TJJD STAID Operating EXP. Funded by the Texas Juvenile Justice Department State Financial Assistance Contract, contract number 2017-0248. Additional backup information has been provided, and Judge Escobar would like item 3L, the quarterly report from the Housing Authority, to be pulled for discussion. Are there any other items that members of the court or the public would like to consider separately, please?
Commissioners, anything you'd like pulled, or do we have a motion to approve the remainder of the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve.
Could we have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Pettis is absent. Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Escobar?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 4, public comment.
I have two individuals signed up for public comment. I have Karina Campos, followed by Deborah Ballou. Good morning.
County staff and the public that we have completed the hardware implementation for the Commissioners Court audio-video broadcast system. So we'd like to thank, on behalf of ITD, thank the court, county administration, and all the departments who collaborated with us in making last week's agenda a short one. So to preview some of the functionality that the new hardware provides, we have created a link to our new El Paso County Public YouTube channel. And this link can be located in our main county website by logging on to www.epcounty.com/video. And we're now going to move forward into our software component. So this phase will allow us to embed the new functionality that the hardware provides in addition to integrating our Novus Agenda solution. And that phase is set to be completed by the end of summer of 2017. So thank you all for your cooperation, and a special thank you to the court, county admin, and of course our CTO, Chris Stathis, for allowing this vision to become a reality and bringing us to the 21st century with our new broadcast system.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Ms. Campos. Really appreciate it. Our next speaker is Ms. Baloo. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Judge Escobar, and to all the commissioners. This is Financial Literacy Campaign Month, and on behalf of World Financial Group and World System Builder, I'd like to just read a few things for our consideration. According to a recent survey, North Americans are facing serious financial challenges. The U.S. picture is even gloomier. 33%, or more than 77 million of Americans don't pay their bills on time. 39% carry credit card debt from month to month. Only 59% of adults say they have savings. Worse, more than half now think it's acceptable to default on their mortgage if they can't afford to pay it. Most of us don't wait to become a statistic to know that we're in trouble. These problems are all around us. They happen to be our own family and our family's friends. It's ironic that we live in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, but we always have money problems. We can work hard all of our lives, but retire poor. We do so much to raise our children just to see them finish college with a lot of debt. Debt becomes a way of life. We don't have much and we don't know much. Nobody teaches us how to manage our money in school. Financial issues are not often discussed, and financial products are not always explained. Most people have problems and trouble balancing their own checkbook and reading a financial statement. We use credit cards every day and don't always understand all the hidden charges. We buy insurance policies and stick them in a file cabinet. We contribute to 401k and hope someone will take care of it. We all want to have a comfortable retirement, but few have a plan. We may be active spenders, but passive savers. It's possible that we don't know what we don't know. Even though the financial industry is one of the largest industries in the world, and even though we are flooded with financial news, channels, websites, financial literacy is as murky as ever. There is a jungle of complex rules and regulations for the thousands of stocks, bonds, funds, savings plans, credit cards, and loans out there. We need to change, and the task won't be easy. But we need understanding first. The old days of passive dependence has to end. A new era of proactivism and financial freedom must begin, and we want to be part of that change. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Baloo.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Would anyone else like to address the court from your group?
Yes, thank you very much for letting us be here.
Our main purpose of being here is that we are providing free financial classes to the community of El Paso. Including free financial classes, we are teaching people how to become entrepreneurs. And so with your help, we would like to invite everybody in the community to come to our free financial classes. Our financial center is at 7060 Airway, and we provide the books, and we provide the classes, everything for free. My name is Kathy Hernandez, and I'm a Senior Marketing Director of World Financial Group. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Okay, Ms. Pietzig, we can go on to item 3L.
Thank you, Judge. Item 3L, the quarterly report from the Housing Authority.
Good morning.
Morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. So Miguel Hernandez here, along with my team, to provide you our quarterly report. Let me see here. I know that we have a presentation here for you real quick.
And while we're waiting, Chris is in the audience. Chris Stathis. Chris, thank you for all the work you and your team did for these upgrades. We really appreciate you all. Okay, it's up. Do you see
Okay.
it there on your screen?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Commissioners, as you can see on the agenda there, our report will consist of the following. We will share with you our plans to amend our strategic plan, provide you an overview of our recent financial audit, an update on our family self-sufficiency program, and a few words from our Commissioner, Catherine Hairston. So we would like to start off by informing you that we have plans to modify our existing 5-year public housing agency plan. And that's all due to the following. HUD funding has been reduced by 13.2% starting 2018 calendar year. In dollars, that translates to $6.2 billion. Also, we were informed that there are some policy changes to some HUD grants where funding is now to be used for rapid rehousing rather than that of transitional housing or case management. And additionally, I was invited by the El Paso Coalition for the Homeless to help facilitate a recent homeless strategic plan workshop where we were informed that approximately 1,100 homeless people were counted in El Paso County, a count that was recorded on January 26, 2017. 400 out of the 1,100 were children. So in light of all this information, the County Housing Authority Board of Commissioners understands that we have a responsibility to increase the number of housing units and provide rapid rehousing to those in most need in our community. And the fact that funding cuts will continue to occur to the programs that we currently administer requires us to take action by devising plans to expand our services, to include goals to seek a new funding and incorporate them into our strategic plan. So far, what we have done, we've done so far the following to assure that EPSHA is adopting and taking the right steps to modify our strategic plan. And the first one that you see there is that we're meeting with EPSHA's Resident Advisory Board. It is required by HUD for us to meet with these participants since they represent the voice of our clients. But secondly, we also want to assure that our goals align with rapid rehousing or other family self-sufficiency initiatives as indicated in the El Paso County Strategic Plan. And looking at your various priorities indicated in your policy agenda, the EPSHA strongly feels that we may serve as a strategic partner and collaborate on future projects. Presently, we have met with Irene Valenzuela, the Executive Director for the county's Community Services Department. Our meetings have allowed us to discuss various housing needs in the county that led to various ideas, then led to us, for us to meet with Deputy Budget Officer Gabby Fierro and the county's Grants Department. So as you can imagine, when you have great minds coming together with individuals who deeply care about addressing homelessness in our community, it resulted in lots of great ideas. We have more upcoming meetings happening these next 2 weeks, And that's going to allow us for us to put those ideas on paper so that we can come before the County Commissioners Court to present those ideas for comment, review, and approval. Next, we have our Finance Officer, Zulema Avila. She will present on the next item.
Excellent, thank you. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. It's nice to be here again. On the next slides, I will be covering we had a financial audit it was conducted on the El Paso County Housing Authority. A couple of weeks ago, I sent out an email to all of you with the full report for your review. Being that it is an extensive report, don't worry, I'm not gonna go over all of it. I'm just gonna touch over some main points this morning. The audit was conducted on the El Paso County Housing Authority fiscal years 2015 and 2016 by Nova Gerdach and Company LLP. Nova Gerdach has consulted and audited for over 25 years. It is nationally certified and headquartered out of San Francisco. They work extensively in the affordable housing, community development, and multiple other fields. They have also published numerous articles related to housing industry in national newspapers. With that being said, here are the results of that audit. On page 1 of the report, first paragraph, we may find that the audit was conducted successfully, so all of the items that they've requested were turned in in a timely manner. Page 2, first paragraph, under opinion, the report meets the requirements and all of the qualifications. On pages 14 through 17 of the report that was emailed out, you may view our statements of net position, and there was a slight improvement from 2015 to 2016, so that's a positive trend. Page 31, third paragraph, under internal control over financial reporting, there was no deficiencies identified. Page 32, first paragraph, under compliance and other matters, no instances of non-compliance that are required to be reported under government auditing standards. Page 34, first paragraph, opinion on each major federal program. EPSHA complied and all materials respect with requirements on each of its major federal programs. Page 34, third paragraph, under report on internal control over compliance, no deficiencies were identified. In summing up the report, the auditors have mentioned that EPSHA is a solid entity for an organization our size. That's my part of the report, and now with pride, I hand over the baton to Lorena Carrasco, our Family Self-Sufficiency Ambassador. Excuse me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning, Judge
Good
Escobar,
morning.
Commissioners. Thank you once again for allowing us to present to you. It is absolutely wonderful to be here. I will be speaking on a couple of things: a Creative Kids Update, GED, child feeding program, health fair, and classes and guest speakers that we've had so far at EPSHA for our residents. As you know, we have partnered up with Creative Kids to develop a pilot program designed specifically for housing authorities. This is the first of its kind, and we hope in the future to broadcast these successes and encourage other housing authority agencies nationwide to adapt this program for their communities. Currently, we have 4 participating residents. We have 3 female head of household and 1 18-year-old volunteer. The training is being held at the Olo Gallery here downtown, Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. We do provide transportation from EPSHA to the gallery for our residents. The tentative date for this pilot program to begin is June 13th. It is on a Tuesday. We will be holding classes Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 4 during the summer months. Sorry. We will have our ribbon cutting event on June 9th. It is on a Friday, 2017. We will have news media, the Board of Commissioners, the community at this event. And today I extend an invite to all of you. It would be an absolute privilege not only to have you, Judge Escobar, but the entire court commissioners with us, because after all, our goals are not only to engage, but to bring positive light to all of our county's initiatives. I will be extending an invite to all of you through email within the next couple of weeks, and you will also receive a formal invite through the mail. Next, through our interactions with the residents, I meet with them during resident council meetings. I do have Friday morning coffees. It's very important that we find out exactly what their needs are in order for us to provide any type of service for them. I've had maybe 4 or 5 residents touch base on GED classes. These are unfortunately residents that have dropped out as freshmen, are now 21, 22 years old, and they're really looking to do something more with their lives. I have found where El Paso libraries do found through the State Library Learning Express and online classes, and they are willing to take these classes. So our initiatives right now are to provide the access to the computers and purchase headphones for individual learning so that they can go in there and absolutely concentrate and get their GED, hopefully successfully. Another great announcement that I want to make to you is that we're absolutely excited to announce that we have we partnered up with the Clinton Independent School District. They are providing nutritious meals for our children. They will begin the second week of July through the 11th of August. It is the most amazing work that they are doing right now. It ensures that all of our children in the Sanchez and Solis complex do and will get that nutritious balanced meal, at least lunch. Throughout our initiatives, we'll have that opportunity center open. They'll be there, they'll eat, they'll be able to go home. They have something to do, which is what we want to do. And with us today, we do have Ms. Julia Delgado and Leticia Maestro from Clinton Independent School District, and I think it's really wonderful for them to shed light on this program.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. This year, our district is increasing our off-campus feeding sites. Normally, during the summer, we would do feeding for our summer school at our campuses. Last year, we had one off-site location. This year, we hope to get 8 to 10. We want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to work with the Housing Authority and to work with Ms. Carrasco in feeding our children in East El Paso County. Jesus Carrasco, the Anthony ISD Food Service Director, sends his regards. He is, again, increasing his feeding sites, and he will be feeding on the west side, West El Paso. We would appreciate any locations or any suggestions that you have to increase our sites. And again, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And before you, if I may,
Yes, sir.
I am so proud of what Clint is doing and of course the Housing Authority there, because you were able to link up with the Anthony Independent
Yes.
School District. And Anthony is the unit that provided all the meals last summer over at the Coliseum.
Yes, sir.
So it's thank you for being interested and thank you for participating, because it does make a difference in our young people.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Okay, next. Super excited about feeding the children, I really am. Next, we have just informational on May 20th, 2017, it's actually 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Texas State Senator Jose Rodriguez will be hosting a health fair there at our Sanchez community, and that's going to be for the entire Fabens community. Great thanks to Claudia Yoli, which is the Director of Community Affairs, because she's really trying hard to help us out in bringing this health fair out to the communities. Last, of course, but not least, just wanted to give you some information on classes and guest speakers that we are having at EPSHA. We have done our reach out efforts with the Sheriff's Department. Deputy Dickerson has been wonderful at attending our resident council meetings, answer any questions for the residents or concerns that they might have. And he's also conducting classes. His first class was awareness of Texas alcohol laws, just so that we can hopefully prevent any drinking and driving from any of our residents. And beginning now in May next week, actually, we will get GECU to begin giving courses to our residents, beginning with Financial Education 101, Build a Budget, and Understanding Credit. And I hope to, within a year, hopefully be able to have the residents ready to get some home ownership and classes going on there. Other than that, that is all for me, and I proudly present to you, Board of Commissioners, Kirsten.
Good morning, Commissioner Hairston. How are you?
Good morning, Judge
Welcome.
and Commissioners. As you heard this morning, our County Housing Authority is making great strides in moving our Housing Authority forward by building strategic partnerships, such as with the Clinton Independent School District, and also with the Center Against Family Violence. We've already begun assisting 2 families, and we're in the process of enrolling another family. And so I'm very proud of Miguel and his staff because we're making differences in people's lives that otherwise wouldn't have had that opportunity, so it's very important. We're also working on obtaining vouchers for our veterans that live in El Paso County, and that's very exciting and a new opportunity that we're also very proud of Miguel and his staff because we really have come a long way from where we were even a year ago. So I just really want to highlight how proud I am of our staff and the vision that they have and the care and commitment to move the county housing authority forward. So I think it's very important, and I want to thank you guys for your support, your continued support, and you're always welcome to visit the authority because these guys are great. So.
Excellent, thank you.
Any questions, Judge, Commissioners?
Commissioners, any
That's all we have.
questions?
Thank you. Thank you for a great presentation. And Commissioner Heston, I've got to say that I've been out there a couple of times, and what a difference I've seen in the transformation of that of both complexes. You're partnering up with, it seems like every time I go out there, there's something new. I know the Rotary Club was out there installing a couple of benches, and you're creating some interest out there that we didn't have in the past. I see it, and as I visited last time, the mere fact that your morale is so much higher. So I see success written all over that, and all those programs that you're reaching out and bringing other entities to help us help the folks that need it the most. Thank you.
Just wanted to extend my gratitude to Commissioner Stout, because a few months ago, Commissioner Stout helped us build a bridge between us and the county's Human Resources Department. We got to work with Melissa Carrillo, an awesome individual. She helped us with some restructure, and because of her, we've been able to hire our first human resource employee. So thank you very much, Commissioner.
It's so wonderful to see the progress of the Housing Authority. And it would not happen without great commissioners, because we know that there were a lot of challenges in the past. And so it starts at the top with the leadership from the commissioners. So thank you, Commissioner Hairston, to you and to the other volunteers who give of their time and talents. And to all of you, to each and every one of you, the staff, the leadership, the administration at the Housing Authority. Your leadership is so critical to helping all of these people and to improve lives and to make sure people are treated with dignity and respect and are given every opportunity possible to succeed. So thank you very much, and thanks for your report. Always so great to learn about what's happening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Could we please have a motion to approve?
Move to approve. Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Escobar?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 5, presentation, 5A. Receive a presentation of the Emergence Health Network Annual Report.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Christy Daugherty, I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Emergence Health Network. And today, we're very happy to share our 2016 annual report with you. It also was commemorating our 50 years in existence, obviously under different names, but we definitely are continuing with the mission that 50 years ago, the County of El Paso and Hospital District and all the community members wanted from a community center. First, I'd like to share with you is we have several videos. Our annual report is an electronic report. We don't publish a report. It's full of a lot of information, so I encourage you to take a look at it when you have a chance. We're going to share just pieces of it with you today. But the first one is our 50th, our tribute to 50 years in existence and our employees and our tradition about caring and commitment.
My name is Fernando, and I've been with Emergence already going on, it's been 21 years now. When I was thinking about the 50th year anniversary, it was just like a big tree that had expanded its branches into different areas of El Paso. And I think the community sees that and knows that and is very grateful for us being here.
I think people
don't realize that the organization has been around 50 years due to the fact that it has been under different names. But I believe once they understand who we are and that we do have the presence in the community for so long, that they are amazed at the changes and how we've just revolutionized mental health services and continue to push the envelope.
I have sent to the Congress today a series of proposals to help fight mental illness and mental retardation. These two afflictions have been long neglected. They occur more frequently, affect more people, require more prolonged treatment, cause more individual and family suffering than any other condition in American life. It has been tolerated too long. It has troubled our national conscience, but only as a problem unpleasant to mention, easy to postpone, and despairing of solution. The time has come for a great national effort.
Recovery is so critical to a person's success, and you need to be in the environment in which you're going to be in long term. And an institution is not where we want anybody to be able to recover. We want them in the community. We want them to be able to work and to live near their families and friends. So really, the call to action by President Kennedy made it possible for individuals to receive services where they are.
The way I see it is that now we're continuing the structure. We're still building the structure of the foundation that was laid a long, long time ago for El Paso. And I think that's just really, really great.
When someone chooses to be an employee of Emergence Health Network, we want them to know that it's with an organization that is here to serve now, but also has been here serving for years. And it's a commitment to provide this type of service. And it's hard work. And so the fact that the organization has been around 50 years is something that anybody working for EHN should be proud of the legacy, and then also being part of that legacy go forward. With regards to the mental health service delivery system in Texas, EHN is really ahead of the game. We're looking at national models versus just making do in the state of Texas. We're really trying to set a continuum of care for both our mental health and IDD consumers that is beyond what is expected. I can say that I am proud to be able to lead an organization that has such longevity, and we are looking forward to 50 more years. So that's just the introduction video to the annual report. Within the annual report, there's several other videos of employees regarding our specific program. So we're not going to go through all of that, but if you have some time, take a look at it, because it's a really the one that I'd like you to see is the jail service video from one of our employees there, and it's pretty impactful on what she has to share of her experience there. And with that, I want to talk a little bit about our year in review. And one of our biggest highlights is our jail service contract with the County of El Paso. We have completed a year. It doesn't seem like it's been a year, but I think in the eyes of what's going on out there, there's been a huge impact. We are proud to be partners with the county and the sheriff's department to build a successful clinical program. It's always evolving, and we're really excited about what the future holds for that particular service. We also stood up a new substance abuse division. If you look at any of the research, co-occurring disorders are so common with individuals with mental illness and a substance abuse disorder. So we really felt that it was important as the local mental health authority, although we don't receive the general revenue dollars for substance abuse, that we needed to do something for the people that we serve and also look to fill gaps in the community. Our Veterans One-Stop Shop Center on the Northeast, we're again a very innovative concept to where we have as many services as possible outside of like medical services for veterans to come and be able to access educational opportunities, employment opportunities. We have the food bank, partnering with us there, but also gives them a place to come and just be with other veterans on a peer support basis, and so that they're not isolating and feeling like they're alone. We also launched our MHU smartphone app. It's an exciting partnership with the San Antonio Center, where it is an app on your phone, and you click on it, and all of the resources in the community with regards to behavioral health are at one touch. Really neat concept for some of our younger folks in El Paso, where they can look and see what famous people also may suffer with a mental illness or a substance abuse disorder, and it really connects some of our younger El Pasoans with that it's okay to ask for help. Also on that app is a one-touch button to call our crisis line. So if somebody is in crisis, they can push a button and it goes straight to our crisis line and they can get the help they need. And lastly, we were very excited to partner with one of the federally qualified health centers in El Paso, Centro San Vicente. They actually opened a clinic at our 1600 Montana location, and they're providing primary care right in the heart of that clinic. So we have primary care going on there as well as crisis services and outpatient clinical services. Some of our ongoing initiatives, we're continuing with the behavioral health campus concept at our Montana location. We're exploring different ways to, again, meet the needs of El Paso in the best way that we can as the local mental health authority. We're looking at expanding into possibly some detox services there, because we have our observation unit that exists in that location, and we're seeing a lot of individuals coming in with the substance abuse need, and they need a safe place to detox. We really don't have that in El Paso. So we're looking, hopefully this next year, we'll be able to share with the court some exciting things we're doing there, along with some different levels of care, including intensive outpatient and partial hospitalization. Those are for individuals that can go home in the evening, but they really need the help during the day. We have opportunities with our managed care partners in our community. That's the Medicaid partners in the community. We're working on different ways of funding programs. If you've followed healthcare, it's changing and by the minute. And so really looking at opportunities outside the fee-for-service model, because that really is a difficult model to maintain. So we're looking at value-based services, some risk-sharing services, or opportunities to where we can bring the right funding resources into El Paso that we need. And also just increase collaboration with our stakeholders to improve our system of care. I've described some of that to you, but we're really looking at partnering on more children's services as well. We don't have a children's crisis system that is that there's a lot of holes. It's very fragmented in our crisis services for kids, so we're looking at that, partnering with Department of Family Protective Services for kids in foster care, and really looking how we can push the envelope even further with regards to services in El Paso. The next slide is our expenditures for the year. One of the things we will be sharing with you, we'll drop those off in your office today, is our audit from 2016. And just so you know, we did receive a clean opinion with zero findings. If you look at our revenues versus expenses, we came out $7.5 million revenue over expenses. And the other category, so you know, is the DSRIP category. That's the 1115 waiver that everybody's talking about these days, if you're looking at other with regards to that slide. We're working very diligently with UMC and with our internal staff to make sure we have sustainability plans on those programs, because we aren't real sure how long that waiver money will last. Just to give you a little bit more breakdown on the revenues and expenses, we have different divisions within the organization. So our mental health division, which is all of our outpatient clinics, they had $14.8 million in revenues and $9.4 in expenses, which was a $5.4 million revenue over expenses. Our intellectual developmental disability division was a $10.6 million in revenue and $10.3 in expenses. And then we have a diversion division, which we have reclassified some of our programming to where any program that's diverting an individual out of an inappropriate level of care, whether it be homelessness, our jail program falls under that, our ACT program, because we really try to keep people out of the hospital. That program is heavily grant funded, and so it came in $4.8 million in revenue and $4.7 million in expenses. So as you can see, the organization is healthy, we're strong, we're moving through this very uncertain healthcare environment, but we're planning to be prepared regardless of the outcome of the Affordable Care Act. We're partnering with private insurances as well, because not everybody is on Medicaid in El Paso, and not everybody needs the level of service that Health and Human Services contracts with Emergence to provide. So we're being innovative outside of that. We have a clinic on the west side that's completely commercially funded. It doesn't, we don't use any of the state dollars in that. We're looking to expand that concept on the east side. And we're also in, we have great opportunities right now with UMC as well. So that is EHN's as far as this 2016. Again, here's some more information on our annual report, and if you have a chance, take a look at it, and we're really excited to be partnering with the county go forward.
Thank you, Christy, so much. Commissioners, any questions for Christy? Well, we really appreciate the work that you and your team have done. I see members of your team in the audience, the dedication of your staff and your physicians and your board. And just as we said to the Housing Authority, which presented before you, it's really wonderful to see the advancements through EHN and the more lives that you're able to improve, and we're very grateful for that.
Thank you. I really appreciate your trust and your support. Commissioner Stout on our board, we really appreciate what the community they put the trust in us, and we are going to continue to serve.
It'll be exciting to hear what you do with the challenge that you have with substance abuse. And so you and I have had conversations about that, and there is a real need in this community. So hopefully you'll be in a position where you'll be able to assist some of those folks as well.
We will.
Judge, and Christy, I've got to say that even so many facets that in your area that you've been very successful with, I especially like hearing about the detox services that are being offered. Instead of our jail being the detox center where our taxpayers are paying, they have an alternate place. Law enforcement can now look towards another location instead of burdening our own taxpayers with those expenses. So
and we're really pushing forward with partnerships with our El Paso Police Department. We have a great partnership with the county, but really we're moving towards the CIT type training, to where we have mental health professionals partnered with law enforcement to approach situations involving a mental health, somebody with mental health diagnosis, looking at options for them to bring them to us versus an emergency room or jail, really trying to get people the help they need in order to reduce recidivism as well.
I agree, Commissioner,
Great.
completely.
Thank you. Thank
Y'all
you.
have a
great
wonderful day.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being here.
Regular agenda, item 6, discuss and take appropriate action regarding the 85th legislative session to include presenting information for the court's consideration, removing or including bills on the county state legislative agenda, and supporting or opposing filed legislation, and take any action necessary on aforementioned items.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Ruben Vogt with the County Judge's Office. I'd like to give the court a brief update on where we are with the county's bills. Of the 17 bills that the court is proposing, I'm not sure if you can see all of them on your screen. It looks like
Only
it's
to 14.
cut off at the bottom there. I'm not quite sure why. But of the 17 bills that the court is proposing, those are in green are the ones that have received a hearing or are moving in either chamber or both chambers. Those in blue, which are 4 of them, we still have hope that they will have some legs to move over the next 2 weeks. So of our 17 bills, 9 have moved, 4 more will move. So I think we're doing relatively well when it comes to our bills. In your backup, you have a list of the 103 bills that the court has taken a position on to date, whether to support or oppose as well. And that also includes the 17 bills that the county is proposing. And it gives you the most up-to-date status on where that bill is. Aside from those bills, the 103 in that packet, there are another 200 bills that we're tracking that we haven't brought to the court, only in that either they're very good bills that we didn't think necessarily had to come quite yet because either they weren't going to move but could have a county impact, or very bad bills that also did not have any legs and weren't moving, but we're tracking them closely and bring those to the court whenever there is movement on those bills. I'd also like to thank all of the subject matter experts that have been helpful in testifying on all the bills in green that have moved. We've been sending folks from the county attorney's office, our budget office, the auditor's office, and so many others who have been very gracious with their time to be able to go and advocate on behalf of these bills for the county.
Ruben, before you move forward, so it cuts off, I can see 13 mental health assessments in blue, 14 occupational license, but yeah, our little screens cut off the rest. What comes after that?
Sure,
And what
number
color?
14 is the occupational license bill that was proposed by Signe Niemer. That's one of the criminal justice bills that we're proposing. 15 is the JPD exemption bill, where new regulations under the Health and Human Services Commission could impact their ability to house juveniles in the challenge program, and so we're asking for an exemption. That bill should receive a hearing hopefully this week, if not next week. Our date of birth exemption in the PIA request, which was an item that the sheriff and Holly Lytle had proposed, that bill did receive a hearing, and Ms. Lytle spoke on behalf of it. I believe it was last week. And number 17 is our bailiff pay scale bill, which is an item that we had talked about in length. It was something that Commissioner Perez had proposed. That has actually moved in both chambers, and so I'm anticipating that it will actually pass within the next week. So we're really excited about that being our first bill to pass. I apologize that it's cut off. I'm not quite sure why that is.
Yeah, hey Betsy, is it the same on your screen? You're on it. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to now go on to some of the other bills that the court has taken a position on that are relatively large bills. Senate Bill 2, the revenue caps bill, as you all know, this has passed the Senate. It was referred last week to the House Ways and Means Committee, so we anticipate that it will receive a hearing either this week or next week. It's always so difficult to predict when it will be heard. We've been in communications with the Texas Association of Counties and the Conference of Urban Counties as early as this morning. It has not been set for this Wednesday. The speaker did want it to be set for this Wednesday, but it was not. It could still be added, and they could even call another hearing of that committee sometime this week. So we're not out of the woods yet this week. For all intensive purposes, we anticipate that it will be heard next Wednesday. The Texas Association of Counties is hosting County Day in Austin next Wednesday, and so if it is heard on Wednesday, that would be great, and that we'll already have a lot of county officials from other parts of Texas already there. I'd like to thank Wally for having come with me to the Chamber of Commerce a week and a half ago. We had been working on the Chamber of Commerce to oppose this bill for quite some time over the last 3 months. And unfortunately, we had not gotten there quite yet, but Wally and I went to the Chamber during their government relations meeting and gave them a presentation on the impact of Senate Bill 2, and they have thankfully sponsored a resolution through their executive committee to oppose Senate Bill 2 once again. So we have heard from the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, who has indicated that he wants strong support from the business community in opposition to Senate Bill 2 and wants as many people as turned out for the Senate hearing to be there during the House hearing. So I think that El Paso County will be well represented once we get to that point during the House hearing. Senate Bill 4, the Sanctuary Cities Bill, that has passed the Senate. It was placed on the House and basically has passed the House as well. It's been placed on the House emergency calendar for the 26th of April. Emergency calendar meaning that this was an emergency item for the governor, so that's a calendar that it will be directed to. Once it passes the calendar, it will go on to a vote of the floor, and we know that it will more than likely pass. But we're tracking it. Our county attorney's office is doing a lot of work around that, and so is our lobby team and the lawyers that have been hired to work on this on behalf of the county for this session, should we have to take any action after session is over. The other item I'd like to bring up, I brought this bill to the Commissioner's Court 2 weeks ago. This has to do with the Historical Commission. I'm not sure if I need to give an update on what that bill necessarily did. Mr. Nebham spoke on this item. It did have a hearing on the 18th, so I watched that hearing. I told the court that I would bring back any information I had from the hearing. Those that were in support of the bill were 3 groups: Veterans Against Falsehoods, the Texas Coalition of Veterans Organizations, and the Sons of the Republic. Those that were opposed to the bill, which is the position that we've been asked to take, were the Texas Historical Commission, Preservation Texas, the Travis County Historical Commission, which is where we think this is coming from, and Travis County did finally take a position against the bill. So at the pleasure of the court, I don't know if you would like to finally take a position for or against this legislation, or if you'd like to continue to have me track the bill. And if it moves out of the House, then we can take a position as it heads into the Senate.
Commissioners, what are your thoughts?
Continue to track.
I agree, just track for currently.
Same.
Okay.
Okay.
Just a few other items before we get into the new bills. Senator Rodriguez has sponsored a scrap tire piece of legislation. It's the same piece of legislation he sponsored last session, which we helped craft and actually supported. The bill does two main things. It requires the secure storage of scrap and used tires by any party who stores tires on their premises. The concern being that oftentimes some of these tires get stolen. They are used for certain products and then dumped back into the desert once their useful life has reached a limit. The second thing it does is it improves the tracking of scrap tires and enforcement of proper disposal from the individual who actually has the tire on their vehicle all the way up to getting new tires on your vehicle. So it tracks the process. It creates a new process for implementation across the state to ensure that we try to minimize the amount of tires out in the community for disposal in the desert. This is in your guidance document to support any legislation that allows us the opportunity to prevent illegal dumping of tires. So we did drop a card in support of the legislation. It's passed the Senate. It has a hearing in the House, I believe, tomorrow. And so we are watching that and just wanted to make sure that the court was aware of that bill moving. Lastly, there are 3 criminal justice bills that we are watching heavily. They're big omnibus bills. I know that the court might have heard from several constituents on one of those bills, which is Senate Bill 1338. We have not brought these to the court yet for a reason. The Conference of Urban Counties and TAC is watching these. They're changing quite a bit. There are some very good parts to all 3 bills having to do with the criminal justice process. There are some very costly parts, like requiring that we give inmates prescription drugs that are the same drug that was given to them outside in the community. So when you have a doctor who prescribes somebody not a generic drug, but the high-end premium drug, we would have to do the same thing. And so that could be costly to the jail. It would also be costly that we'd have to continue to provide that medication for a period right after they left the jail. And so we are tracking these bills. We think that they are being amended in a way that we can be supportive of the bills. I would hate to bring them to the court, come out in opposition, and then they get cleaned up, and then we're still in opposition. So we're just tracking these for now to make sure that we give an honest assessment of what we think the bill will do at the very end of their life. And lastly, in your backup was also an analysis of the House and Senate budgets for your review. It gives you an outline of the differences between both the House version of the budget and the Senate version, and where the cuts are made and what the differences are in both chambers. I don't want to necessarily go into great detail on that, but I wanted you to have that. Should you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Some of the big cuts do come in the way of providing funding to counties for criminal justice reform and criminal justice defense, which we were already woefully underfunded. I believe that it's reducing it by another 9 or 19%. And again, it also puts the onus back on the local property taxpayers to fund local education. And with that, we'll go into the bills that are up for consideration for the court today. One second here. The first bill is Senate Bill 1733 by Senator Birdwell. This has to do with municipal IDs. And so we can vote on this bill separately if the court chooses to, so we don't lump them all together. This impacts the usefulness of a community ID program. Currently, community IDs can be used by any entity that doesn't have direct state oversight. So it can be used by our county clerk's office, by the courts, by the sheriff, by constables, whenever they go on call to be able to identify somebody. The sheriff has previously said that he would recognize community IDs when responding to calls in the county. Under this new law, he would not be able to make that determination. So it takes away the ability of local elected officials and department heads from being able to use a community ID like they currently have the authority to do. This would be bad for our ID program. Another court has supported that in the past. It would also have the same effect in accessing city services. So this may cause the city to pull any future support to share cost on the ID program. And without the city's funding and creation of the program, I don't know that the county county would start or maintain an ID program. This is also in your guidance document to oppose any legislation that would be detrimental to moving forward a community ID program, so we did drop a card in opposition, but wanted to bring it to the court for a solidified vote against Senate Bill 1733.
Okay.
We can take this one separately. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we'll do this one separate. Okay.
The next bill, I don't know if the court necessarily has a huge interest in this piece of legislation, but we wanted to bring it forward to you either way. The bill would require money transmission businesses via their clerks to determine the residency status of money transaction customers. It would allow to apply a fee to those who are unable to prove that they are U.S. citizens and trying to transmit money outside of the United States. The fee would be 3% of the total amount plus $5, and any funding that is collected would go to the state for costs associated with administering this program and for border security. For El Paso, this may cause monetary transaction customers to conduct business outside of Texas. There has also been a constitutional question on this bill. If passed in its current state, it would probably be unconstitutional because it attempts to regulate foreign commerce. And so we're asking the court to oppose this piece of legislation.
Okay.
The next bill would amend the local government code, creating a Class C misdemeanor if a person violates the rules governing the use of a municipality or county's maintained park, playground, historical museum, or historic or prehistoric site. The fines collected through issuing Class C misdemeanors shall be deposited in the general fund of the municipality or the county. So right now, if I go to Escalante Park and I, in some way, am violating a rule that has been established by our county staff or the county for that park, there isn't much that we can do aside from trying to remove the individual. We can't necessarily issue a citation unless they are breaking a specific law outside of the park. The only county that has authority to issue Class C citations for breaking a rule established by a municipality or county is Harris County. So this is expanding it to every other county across the state. And we think this would be useful in ensuring that we maintain the integrity of our parks and any other assets the county owns in the future. Yes, sir.
Would that be posted? I don't want it to create something where we have this ambiguity of, oh, are you spitting on the sidewalk? That's a $50 fine. I mean, I want to make sure this doesn't get to where it's really hidden fees that we're finding people for stuff. I mean, I understand if they're drinking when they're not supposed to be. I understand if they're breaking stuff, but any fee that an employee or any rule that a county employee or a park employee can put into play gives it a little too much ability for misuse, and that gives me a little bit of fear.
And the bill doesn't specify how to ensure that the public is aware of these rules. That would be something that would be left up to the Commissioner's Court, and it wouldn't be any rules that didn't first come to the Commissioner's Court for approval. And so it would have to come to the court would approve it. I can't necessarily cite a specific rule right now that would pertain to, for example, Escalante Park or the sports park.
I'll give you an example. The smoking. So we've instituted this smoking ban in parks led by Commissioner Leon so that families can enjoy a picnic without smelling tobacco while they're eating their sandwich or whatever. But to Commissioner Haggerty's question, would it be a sheriff's deputy who would enforce? So it wouldn't be just like park staff. It would be law enforcement.
It would be law enforcement that could issue the Class C citation.
It would be the sheriff's office. Also, the issue with the ducks at Escalante as well, if the Commissioner's Court wanted to take a position, to allow individuals coming in with the ducks or not, how you want to handle that would be another issue that you all could address.
I mean, there's already a state statute that says you can't abandon domesticated animals, and so I don't know if that.
But the court could still
pertains to
take
this
an
or not,
order
but-
to prohibit them from going in,
Right.
would be an option for the
And
court
that would
to consider.
automatically mean that it's a Class C misdemeanor if doing so.
And the
You're
city
saying
of,
if I take my duck for a walk, I'm breaking the law?
If you leave it there.
Not yet. We
you
can
should
make
keep
that
your
rule.
duck in your neighborhood is what we're.
Yeah, I can break my duck anywhere.
Just as long as you don't abandon it, you're cool.
In theory, I like the idea. I think I give a fear of it giving a little too much ability for misuse for, that's my only fear with this one. I don't know if I'm 100% for it, so.
So the city of El Paso has this ability, right?
This
Municipalities already do?
This includes municipalities and counties. So this is also expanding it into municipalities from with the legislation, how it reads right now.
Because the city, like at the park that I live next to, for example, there are signs that say already, like, if you're in the park after 10, and if you're doing X, Y, and Z, these are the things not allowed to and that are punishable. And so I'll give you an example, like there are times when there's like crazy stuff happening in the park right next door to me after 10 that has been beyond sketchy. And so I've been able to, because of that rule, I've been able to call the cops. Or I haven't, someone else has called the cops. And they've been able to enforce that. I think it's a good tool.
The nice thing about it, which is why counties are supportive, is that it gives the discretion to the Commissioners Court and this added ability to regulate. Whenever we get that ability, we are always welcome to taking it because not very often does the state give us that tool.
Okay, so we may vote on this one separately also. Okay.
Okay.
It's my husband who calls, not me.
Now you know who to be mad at when you get called.
Thank you.
The cops called on you.
I think that the issue with the screen not showing all the information has been resolved. So thank you to IT.
Thank you, IT.
The next bill is Senate Bill 1680 by Senator Lucio relating to a task force of border health officials. This allows for the Department of State Health Services to create a Texas Border Health Officials Task Force to identify, address, and improve healthcare infrastructure of counties along the U.S.-Mexico border. We reached out to our health director, Robert Resendez, who is supportive of the bill, and he's actually gone to testify on its behalf in support. He would actually be one of the individuals that would be allowed to participate in this task force on behalf of El Paso County and the city. It is designated to create long and short-term goals to address unique needs to border communities, and so we are asking the court to support this piece of legislation to try to begin looking at some of the unique healthcare needs that are affecting border counties across the state. The next bill, this is more of an update, not something that we'll necessarily take a vote on unless the court would like to change their position. The House Bill 122 by Representative Dunton and Senate Bill 941 by Senator Hughes relates to raising the age of criminal responsibility in Texas. The court has taken an action previously to include in your guidance document to support allowing for the raising of age of criminal responsibility only if there is state funding tied to it. In working with our juvenile probation department and our budget office and the auditor's office, we were able to calculate that should this bill go into place today, it would come at a cost of $15.4 million to the county. That includes costs to added staffing, operations, and to having to expand our JPD facilities as they stand right now. And so we did send a letter to our delegation. Our office did, indicating that the county was supportive of the idea only if there was state funding attached to it, along with the costs. What they were able to do is amend the bill from taking place or being implemented in 2018 and pushing it back to 2021. It did have a hearing and it did pass the House, and so it's on to the Senate. So the likelihood of this passing, at this point in session, we're not quite sure it has legs. But it does not have any funding attached to it. Their rationale, and Representative Blanco was one of the co-authors to the bill, their rationale is that we have 2 sessions to fix the problem in terms of addressing any financial needs that need to come from the state to address the lack of funding to implement the bill.
Ruben, can I make a suggestion? And I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but what the CUC will sometimes do, as you know, is with a bill where we philosophically may support it, but there's something that needs to be fixed. So in this case, we may philosophically support raising the age of criminal responsibility, and Joanne has talked to us about it in the past when she has mentioned, look, when you make a mistake at 18 years and 1 month, you're still, studies show you're still, like your brain still operates in a way that a child's would, like you're not a fully formed adult. And so philosophically, I personally totally support it, but completely agree with the court's position that, hey, we need funding. We don't have this kind of discretionary funding to implement this positive philosophical change at the state. So could we do what the CUC does and say, support only if funding is provided? Or is that, are the cards just support or oppose?
The cards are just support or oppose at the legislature. And so I would think that, in my opinion, only in that the bill doesn't come with any funding from the state, that we would still continue to oppose the bill. For that reason, we could submit testimony in writing that could indicate that we are supportive of the concept, but not the fact that it doesn't come attached, or there aren't state funds attached to the bill. We will track it as it moves into the Senate, and can definitely begin to prepare some written testimony, if not ask Chief Martinez to attend and testify to that fact, because he also is of the same belief.
Okay, how do you all feel about that? Okay, okay, okay.
The next item is a bill that was brought to our attention by the county attorney's office and asked that we take a position on it. This has to do with claims on construction defects. This is HB 2343 by Workman. The bill would require that if the county felt that there was a defect in a construction project, we would have to hire a third-party inspector at the cost of the county to evaluate the defect. This doesn't allow for the county to bring a suit against the contractor for 5 months, in which they have the ability to remedy the issue. And it removes the county's ability to put terms in a contract with the business, which we currently do, to be able to sue if a defect is encountered. The concern is that it would cost the county, not only in construction delays, but having to pay for a third-party inspector. And so I'd like to ask Christina Sanchez to weigh in if she has any additional comments on that.
No, the biggest concern here, though, I think, Ruben, you summarized it very well, was just the delays and the fact that the costs would be borne by the county. Just want to make clear, it's not just for governmental entities, but it's for other individuals as well. But we would recommend, if the court would please oppose.
So that is slated to be opposed by the Commissioner's Court. Next is HB 4230 by Representative Wu. The bill allows for the Texas Water Development Board to provide financial assistance via loans and grants to political subdivisions for flood control or mitigation projects. This is obviously something the court has been talking about for quite some time and figuring out a way to fund our water plan that was established by our local water authority. And we have not been able to find an avenue or a medium by which to capture a fee to be able to do this. So we think this would be a really great opportunity for the county to capitalize on these funds. The funding would come from the State Water Pollution Control Revolving Fund. Right now, I believe that the fund is at about $525 million on an annual basis, and they can increase the amount based on demand. The current limitations on what that money can be used for does not include, obviously, it's not for flood control purposes, and so adding that would be very helpful to us, and so we're asking that the court support this. The next two bills have to do with ad valorem taxation. Senate Bill 1426 by Senator Hancock relates to the calculation and dissemination of certain ad valorem taxes. You may have received in your email yesterday letters from our county auditor, Ed Dion, in opposition to both this bill and the bill to follow. We had briefly discussed this last week, and we're very thankful that he had submitted those letters because the hearing for these two bills takes place today. So Senate Bill 1426 requires officials to calculate not only the effective and rollback tax rate, but adds 2 new tax rates to be included in what is published for constituents to look at, and that is the adjusted effective and rollback tax rate. The adjusted rates are calculated without deducting new property value from the current total value. The concern is that this will confuse individuals that are looking at the various tax rates that are posted for their review, and it impedes on local control, which is something that we've been talking about for quite some time this session. But I'd like to ask Ed to weigh in on this bill with any other comments that he has.
Yes, Edward Dion, County Auditor. The concern that I have is this would only be a publication. It would not be a rate that the county would be required to vote on. My concern is that it subsequently would become a requirement that the lower of the effective or the rollback or the adjusted It's really the rollback that I'm concerned about, the adjusted rollback, because it basically does not include, it basically leaves the new value in, which brings your rate significantly down. The first year, when you have new property added to the rolls, as the community expands, it allows governmental entities to get additional revenues. This would basically take that away, where you would no longer get that new revenue for new services that are being required for that additional demand on the community. So my recommendation would be to oppose it. I did a calculation, assuming this was imposed over the last 10 years, and it would have reduced revenues by $43 million.
So we're asking the court to oppose this piece of legislation.
Thank you, Ed.
Lastly is Senate Bill 2239 by Senator Betancourt. This should be a familiar name. Senator Betancourt is the sponsor of Senate Bill 2, the Revenue Caps Bill. This bill is quite lengthy. Many are considering it to be the second version of Senate Bill 2, so that he has another vehicle to try to pass all that is included in Senate Bill 2. What I will say about this piece of legislation is that it also sets the rollback tax the rollback tax rate at 4%, which is the same thing that we're opposing in Senate Bill 2. And I don't know if, Ed, you want to add any?
Yes, I do. Edward Dion again, County Auditor. The concern I have here is that this puts the burden on the comptroller, excuse me, to develop the forms for the calculations. So we would have to comply with all those new forms that are going to be developed. Additionally, it puts a burden on the tax assessor collector that they have to mail or email every property tax owner a notice of the estimated taxes to be imposed by August 7th. We went ahead and projected what that cost would be to mail everything out. It would range between $137,200 to $142,000 just to do that mail out to notify all the taxpayers. Additionally, as you said, it's a 4%. The 10-year impact is about $57.6 million if it was imposed. The other concern is on the debt service. It requires that anytime you issue debt, if it is not approved by the voters, you cannot add it to your INS rate on the tax that you adopt. You would have to now pick up the debt burden on any debt that you issue that's not voter approved under your M&O, which would become part of your operating budget. So that's definitely a big change, and I'm not sure how we would handle that in the future. The other thing is we found a couple items that we felt were errors in the bill, in that it excludes any unencumbered funds that are in the debt service fund, and it adds excess tax collections, and it should have been subtracting them. So we just clarified that in my letter, but this has a big impact, just like SB 2, but the debt portion really changes it to where you no longer have debt going to the INS rate. So your INS, prospectively, your INS rate would go to 0 unless you took everything to the voters.
The concern being that this bill also is probably much worse than Senate Bill 2. And so it is still a vehicle that can be used if Senate Bill 2 somehow manages to fail. But we will continue to track it, and we're asking the court to oppose this piece of legislation. So that is it in terms of the new bills that we just presented to the court. So I will ask the court to take a vote separately on 2 bills that we discussed, and then we can vote on several others in bulk. Does the court have any other questions?
No? Okay.
So first, we'll take a vote on Senate Bill 1733, which has to do with the municipal IDs. We're asking that the court oppose Senate Bill 1733.
Okay, do we have a motion to oppose?
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Escobar?
Aye.
The next bill is HB 4132 in regards to issuing Class C misdemeanors when an individual breaks rules at a county park.
Okay.
So we're asking the court support HB 4132.
We have a motion to support?
So moved.
Second.
You, Commissioner Pettis? Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Escobar?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, the bills that we have recommended for opposition by the court are HB 1760, HB 2343, Senate Bill 1426, and Senate Bill 2239. So we ask the court oppose those bills that were just listed.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Escobar?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And the following bills are up for consideration by the court to support: Senate Bill 1680, House Bill 4230, HB 3744, and Senate Bill 570.
We have a motion to do so?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Leon,
Aye.
Commissioner Stout,
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Judge Escobar.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you.
Moving on to Commissioners Court, item 7, discuss and take appropriate action regarding the El Paso County Comprehensive Mobility Plan and the El Paso Metropolitan Planning Organization's call for project announcement for the development of the 2045 Metropolitan Transportation Plan. It's been requested by Jose Landeros from Commissioner Perez's office and Norma Palacios from Road and Bridge or Public Works Department to postpone this item for 1 week, please.
I'll move.
Betsy, can I, and Norma, why are we postponing?
I think it's Vince's.
I think they're not here.
I know, but this is,
Commissioner Perez wanted to be here for this item.
okay,
And so he requested that we postpone it for 1 week.
okay, all right.
Excuse me.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
And who made the motion, please?
Move to postpone for 1 week.
Thank you. And then Commissioner Stout
Second.
made the second? Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Leon,
Aye.
Commissioner Stout,
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty.
Aye.
Judge Escobar.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 8, discuss and take appropriate action on a resolution authorizing the tax resale for the property described as Lot 31, Block 14, Country Green Addition, an addition in El Paso County, Texas, as described in volume 1341, page 9, Official Public Records of Real Property of El Paso County, Texas, account number C878-000-0140-0310.
Good morning.
Good morning. Carmen Perez with Delgado Acosta, County Judge, Commissioners, County Administrator. This is a resale offer for a property that was struck off, and it does have a house on the property. This property was struck off for $39,582, and it was struck off in October of 2015. And we do have an offer, and the offer is from Gabriela Ibarra, and she is offering $42,000 for this property. It is a full offer. If the offer is accepted, the property goes back on the tax rolls and starts generating taxes again.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Ms. Perez?
Just one, when you say struck off, what does that mean?
When we took it out to sale the first time, there were no bids.
Okay. Okay, make a motion to approve.
Real quick, the 39,000 will be divided between all of the entities that are owed
Court
taxes,
costs will be paid first, and then since it's a full amount, it's actually more than, everyone will get the share of their taxes.
Second. Thank you.
Commissioner Leon,
Aye.
Commissioner Stout,
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty.
Aye.
Judge Escobar.
Aye.
Motion
Thank you.
Thank you
carries.
so much. Have a great day.
County Administration, item 9, discuss and take appropriate action to approve an El Paso County Courthouse food and beverage solicitation policy that regulates all non-contracted food and beverage vendors who deliver inside the El Paso County Courthouse.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. This item we're being brought forward to help us in complying with our current contract with a food vendor for the cafeteria. As you know, we are contracted with Primos on a month-to-month basis to be the food vendor in the cafeteria. And in that contract, it says that they are the exclusive vendor for selling food in the courthouse. While we do know that employees and visitors may order food to be brought into the courthouse, the selling is not actually occurring on the courthouse property. So we have been addressing this issue for some time. Yvonne has continued to make us aware of things where we were possibly out of compliance with the contract. And so in order to have security help us with the enforcement of the contract requirements,
We drafted a policy regarding food and beverage solicitation in the courthouse. And I do want to, the policy is very short, one page, pretty brief. I do want to ask that we add one more sentence to the section 1 to also note that no sales are allowed in the county garage, because that is another issue we have tried to address previously as well. I do believe both Yvonne and one other individual is signed up to speak on this matter. So if there's no questions from the court, if you'd like to hear from them.
Thank you so much, Betsy. So we do have 2 individuals signed up to address us. The first is Ms. Yvonne Romo.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioner. I'm here to see if we can do something about this problem. And the main reason for us as a concession is because they're having some people returning their food and they don't have any label on it. So they needed a refund on their food, and we're gonna lose liability. Because if they get sick or something's wrong with their food and they don't have a label, and they say, we bought it in the building, it's from you guys. Somebody was on the floor and sold the food to us. So we don't want to lose any liability if they get any kind of sickness. Because when we have something like a catering or something, we do give them a receipt with our address and telephone in case they need anything else. And I don't think any of the people coming in, they have they give out a receipt or they have labels on their foods. Because there's some people that are allergic to some things and they're not labeling their food. And since they're buying it in the building, their thing is us.
Okay.
So,
all right, thank you very
this is
much.
one of my main concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Our second speaker is Ms. Elena Riley. Good morning.
Buenos días. Disculpen, pero no voy a poder hablar inglés. Mi nombre es Elena Riley. Tengo mi pequeño negocio de trocas, es comida ambulante.
My name is Elena Riley, and I have my small business of food trucks.
Tengo ya 5 años con este negocio. Yo sé que he ocasionado algunos problemas aquí en el edificio. Estoy dispuesta a acatar órdenes. Todo lo que las reglas que aquí se me impongan.
I've been in operation 5 years, and I'm open to taking orders in order to accommodate the rules.
No puedo dejar a los clientes porque me están marcando. Tengo ya más de año con ellos. Desafortunadamente, esta semana no he podido cubrir sus necesidades porque se programó esta junta, quise esperar.
I keep getting calls from clients who've been with me for over a year, but I've put that on hold in order to be here at this meeting to find out what happens.
Tengo clientes en todo el edificio, o sea, desde el piso sótano hasta el piso 12. Entonces, vendo las aguas frescas, muy pesadas para venir con una bolsa y entregar piso por piso.
I have clients on every floor of this building, and as an example, she's telling us about the aguas frescas, that it's too difficult to bring them in individual cups.
Yo quisiera, si me dejan, me dan oportunidad, poder meter mi carrito con puros pedidos, con sus nombres y la persona que es y a dónde voy y todo para que poder dar el servicio. No es mi intención provocar problemas. Si ustedes me dicen que no puedo, entonces pues con todo el dolor de mi corazón me voy, pero sí me gustaría poder darles el servicio, si me dejan.
She'd like to continue to bring in her cart with the, in order to provide the drinks and the food to her clients, but she will follow the rules.
Como le digo, no es un negocio que se hizo ayer, o sea, ya tengo 5 años con él, está establecido, tengo todos mis permisos en regla, entonces cualquier cosa pues estoy a disposición de la persona que sea indicada para mostrarles todo.
So she will comply with our rules. Tengo una pregunta, señora. El problema aquí es que tenemos un contrato con una compañía
Sí.
y los otros negocios fuera del condado traen los tragos individualmente también. Ellos no traen carrito, no venden aquí adentro. ¿Cómo sería justo dejarle a usted que haga eso, pero a los otros negocios no?
Mi problema, podría hacerlo, pero me
so I asked
tardaría
her,
más.
I'm sorry, un momentito. What I asked her was, so we've got small businesses, restaurants in the downtown area, and when they deliver, they bring in the individual drinks and, you know, they comply. How would it be fair to force them to comply, but to give her an exemption?
La diferencia es, yo traigo los frascos y, por ejemplo, en un piso, vamos a hablar, por ejemplo, del piso 1. El piso 1 tengo pedidos de todas las muchachas de donde dan las actas, los pasaportes, perdón, y quieren café, quieren agua, si quieren burritos, si quieren, y me piden todo al mismo tiempo. Entonces sería muy pesado para bajar todo en bolsas para entregarlo.
Pero mi pregunta es, si otros negocios están haciendo eso y siguiendo las reglas, ¿por qué, cómo sería justo tener reglas diferentes solamente para usted?
Sí, yo entiendo su postura y trato de comprender todo lo que me dice. Mi pregunta es nada más si me darían permiso no de andar con el carrito en los pisos, sino dejarlo en un lugar, bajar y subir con bolsas.
Pero ¿cómo las bolsas no son problemas? Si como por ejemplo, cuando yo quiero ensalada, especialmente yo pongo mi orden en un restaurante y ellos me lo traen, y si quiero algo de tomar, me lo traen en bolsa. Pero es diferente que traer el restaurante acá adentro del edificio. Es lo que quiero saber, su opinión, cómo sería justo dejarla a usted hacer eso y no abrirlo para todos.
Ok. La diferencia de los otros es que están aquí en la esquina. Yo tengo ahorita mi cocina, estoy tratando de venirme más cerca, pero la tengo allá por Alameda y Delta. Entonces se me hace bien pesado.
No, yo entiendo, pero ¿cómo explicaremos a los otros negocios que vamos a tener reglas diferentes para una persona?
Tiene razón. Si me dan la oportunidad, a tratar de acomodarme de tal modo de no infringir la ley. Me voy a acomodar a como ustedes me lo permitan, siempre y cuando pues me den la oportunidad de seguir dándoles el servicio a la gente.
Gracias.
¿Sí? Muchísimas gracias.
Señora, un momento.
Perdón.
I guess and I'll translate in a second. The question is, once this lady's here as a vendor and she has pre-orders, if someone in the county says, well, also I decided I want this, that sale would be illegal. Is that correct?
It would be in violation, and I want to emphasize, we have explained this to Ms. Riley on multiple occasions, and then she has told us that she would only bring pre-orders in with a receipt, and then in the last 2 to 3 weeks, I found her myself up on the, I believe it was the 11th floor, in the act of going around to offices saying, would you like to buy something off my cart? And I spoke to her then, and told her she could not be doing that.
Okay. Uno de los problemas, did you want?
No, please.
Uno de los problemas que hemos visto es que en veces usted llega y trae las órdenes, pero otra persona dice, ¿sabe qué? Se me antojó una bebida, un lonche, y usted hace la venta, y eso no se puede hacer.
Sí, yo he hecho eso, lo acepto. A veces, como por ejemplo los viernes, el último viernes, que fue cuando me anduvieron siguiendo ellas, 2 personas me cancelaron unos cócteles de camarones que traía, y sí se me hizo fácil decirle a la persona que la entregué y estaba otra con ella, le dijo, si si quieres algo, pues traigo uno extra. Sí lo he hecho, lo reconozco, pero como le digo, he tratado, yo cuando llegué aquí, yo busqué a la persona encargada para ponerme a su disposición y pedir el permiso. Desafortunadamente me dijeron que tenía la agenda llena y no pude hablar con ella. Pero pues yo voy a tratar de acomodarme a las reglas según como ustedes me digan. Lo que no quiero es dejar a la gente, la verdad, me da pena. La comida, pues trato de hacerla lo más casera que se pueda, no sé si alguno de ustedes ha probado, pero las tortillas se hacen recién hechas, se palotean ahí en la cocina, la comida está desde las 4 de la mañana, están las cocineras cocinando. A lo mejor eso ha sido lo que ha tenido éxito, esta cocina, pero eso es lo que yo vengo a ofrecer, oportunidad, es solamente lo que pido. Si se puede, yo me acato a sus reglas.
So, Commissioner Haggerty, that,
I'm
I'm not going to
sorry.
try.
I pretty much got it.
Okay, you got it, okay,
Perdón.
okay.
We have a contract with a vendor, and the right for that contract is open for anyone to bid. It is not fair to put regulations on our vendor to say you have to follow these guidelines, these rules, be inspected, and then let other people come in and sell stuff. And I agree with what our vendor said. You know, people assume because they're buying it within the county that it's county approved. I don't think it's right. I think we need to follow through this with this requirement, and if she wants to sell food in the county this way, then when it goes to bid, she can put in a bid. It's the only right way to do it, follow our contract, which we are now currently breaking.
¿Sí entendió, señora?
No, perdón.
El comisionado dice que tenemos un contrato y participación en ese contrato vino de un proceso competitivo, donde negocios podían competir para tener el derecho de vender aquí adentro. Tenemos alguien que ganó ese derecho y es importante tener las reglas y que la gente sigue las reglas.
Okay.
Y yo estoy de acuerdo y lo que nosotros queremos que nuestros empleados tengan acceso a opciones, pero hay reglas.
Okay.
Y tenemos un contrato con una compañía y nuestra administradora, y yo sé esto porque he hablado con la gente que trabaja por usted, ella cuando les avisa que están quebrando las reglas, es como que no les importa, y eso no es justo.
Sí,
porque otros negocios fuera y cerquitas y lejos que traen comida adentro del edificio están siguiendo las reglas. Y hay veces que usted no ha, desafortunadamente no ha aplicado esas reglas a usted hasta nuestra administradora ha tenido que seguirla para hablar con usted y eso no es justo.
Okay.
Okay.
A partir de hoy.
Gracias. ¿Mande?
Digo, a partir de hoy voy a acatar, y la razón por la que a veces se quebrantaba también es porque yo mandaba a las muchachas. Tengo 4 personas que trabajan para mí. Entonces sí, voy a tratar de ser yo la que venga para poder cumplir al pie de la letra lo que ustedes me especifiquen.
Okay.
Para no
Gracias.
cometer otra vez los errores.
Gracias.
Muy amables, disculpen tanta molestia. También quiero darles las gracias por darnos la oportunidad de tener este tipo de conversaciones, aunque sea en español. Sorry.
No, está bien, gracias.
Con permiso, muchas gracias.
So Betsy, what kind of action were you
I
looking
would-
for in this?
I'm requesting that the judge, or that the commission approve the policy as amended with the no sales are allowed in county garage added to section 1. I also want to make the court aware, we are open to other ideas. So as we go through this next process, we have talked about not requiring exclusivity and also having another process where a vendor could register if we were able to contract but have a registration process, a fee requirement process, because our current vendor has to pay us fees. So we are open to doing this in other ways, and I've explained this to Ms. Riley as well. But it's something we will have to explore and see what's possible.
Okay, Commissioner Haggerty?
I move to make that motion with the addition of the parking garage as well.
Okay.
I have one question, Judge. This only pertains to food and beverage that's being sold, right? I mean, so
Correct.
I've had events where I've brought food in.
Correct.
I mean, I don't have a receipt for the food or anything like that because it's donated, but, I mean, that's not gonna be,
It's only, when you've pre-ordered it, that is not a problem.
thank you.
If you're having your own taco enchilada sale, that's when it has a problem.
Commissioner Leon?
Does this also include the sports park and Escarate?
Right now, this only includes the courthouse.
And I think it's great that you're open to ideas, and we've kind of talked through ideas, like in the future, maybe even allowing different stalls for different vendors, so that employees and jurors and visitors to the county could have access to choice and have different choices. The issue for us is we currently have a contract, and
Yes, ma'am.
so, and you're right, Commissioner, it was competitively bid, people went through a process. Every other restaurant and vendor outside of our doors honors that contract and honors the rules. And so it's important that we honor what we have in place, and so I'll second Commissioner Haggerty's motion. But I would like for us to explore for the future, because we have jurors who are here sometimes, all week, and they can't, they can only go downstairs because they only have a certain amount of time. And it would be nice for them to have different options.
And certain commissioners, too.
Well, yeah. So, thank you for your flexibility. Señora, vamos a pedirle que sigue las reglas, por favor. Tenemos un contrato. Puede traer la comida, pero solamente los órdenes. No puede traer su carrito para vender. Vamos a esperar que usted va a seguir las reglas empezando ahora. Okay? Gracias.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Escobar?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 10, discuss and take appropriate action to provide guidance to the County Historical Commission on its purpose and programs.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Last time I brought this item forward to the court for consideration, the court asked that I go visit with the Historical Commission to review the guidelines with them to see if they had any input on them. At their meeting last month, actually it was earlier this month, I went over this item with them. We went through every single example guidance that's provided in the document. They were fine with everything. They didn't have any objections to the items in the guidance. The only concern they had, and that we clarified for them, is that the items where it says something such as to review 2 properties per year, that they would not be considered required to do that, but as a guideline of what they could do, not what they have to do. And so we went over that some of these are things that they have to do, such as obtain training, which is something required under the statute. That is something that they have to do, but the things such as review 2 properties are suggested and not things that they are going to be held to be performed every year. They were completely fine with it if the court was willing to adopt it with that understanding.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions? No? Okay, is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty? Is
Oh, he just
absent.
stepped out for a
Thank
second.
you. He's absent. Judge Escobar?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to litigation, justice, and law enforcement, item 11. Approve and adopt a resolution authorizing the electronic submission of a grant to the Texas Indigent Defense Commission for the Public Defender Mental Health Advocacy and Litigation Unit to assist El Paso County in enhancing its indigent criminal defense services, providing TIDC required fiscal assurances, and designating authorized grant officials. Further, authorize the completion of the internet submission form to reflect the internet submission confirmation number once the grant application has been submitted electronically. The county attorney's office has reviewed and approved the resolution under contract number 2017-0272.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners, Judge, Ms. Keller. We've, the court approved already to give us the go-ahead to apply, to file the grant, to submit it. We have the grant prepared for submission. It's just filled out. In other words, it's based on the same numbers, the same caseload situation, the same mental health situation as when you all approved it before. And the Texas Indigent Defense Commission requires a resolution by the court to file the application with them. In other words, they want approval at every step to make sure that everybody is with us on it. And we have prepared a full application and submitted it. It's been circulated, and we're asking now we're asking now for permission for a signature on the resolution and allow us to file it electronically within time so that the TIDC can act on it and offer us this grant. It'll take a third round. If they approve the grant, we'll be up here again to ask for a full implementation of it.
Just for our audience, what is the total amount of the grant?
1.2 million, 1.3 million.
I move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Leone?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Escobar?
Stepped out.
Thank you. Motion carries.
May we be excused?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Item 12, as corrected per Carlos Madrid from the County Attorney's Office, as corrected, the item reads, approve and authorize the county judge to sign the operating agreement between El Paso County and Aramark Correctional Services as amended for food services at the downtown detention facility and the jail annex beginning May 1st, 2017 through April 30th, 2019, with 3 one-year extensions. Contract number 2017-0191. Funds are available in the SO Detain and SO Jail Annex salary and fringe accounts and the sheriff food purchase accounts. Additional backup information has been provided.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Robert Flores, I'm Commander with the El Paso Sheriff's Office. We're just asking to move forward with the contract. It was as she stated, it was corrected this morning to include a provision where the fair market value of any supply that we have on hand, any inventory that we have on hand will be purchased by Aramark, and it'll be credited to our account. And that inventory is to take place this Sunday after the final meal is served. Assuming that the contract is authorized, we would go into full effect with Aramark providing these services on May 1st.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions, Commissioner?
Commander, and this is something that I've asked in the past. The employees that we had working for the county performing these services, I understand that Aramark asked whoever wants to come work for them would be accepted, but I understand that there was a few county employees that wanted to remain with the county. What has happened with those employees, Betsy?
Commissioner, I understand there was only one who was still undecided, and I believe, let me find out for sure, I don't want to misspeak, I believe that they either retired or went with Aramark, but let me find, I want to confirm that.
So while you're looking for the answer to Commissioner Leone's question, Wally, your hand was up.
Thank you, Judge. Wally Hargrove from the Office of Budget and Fiscal Policy. So the amount that was corrected today on the agenda as far as the salary savings, that's the gross amount of salary that we pay for this kitchen staff today. So as that salary is transitioned into a contract service line item, we will be purchasing the meals for our inmates as well as any uniformed sheriff's officers who are scheduled to work in the jail. This morning's population and average population for the last few months has been a little under 2,200 inmates. and you have scheduled to work 60 officers per jail per day. So what we did in budget and fiscal is assumed we put all the money together, the gross salaries of the $1.2 million, the $2.2 million food budget, and these are annual numbers, just to let you know. So we have a total invested in our kitchen operations for food, salary, and fringe benefits of $3.46 million. If that population stays the same and we purchase on average 2,200, 3 meals a day for 2,200 inmates and 3 meals a day for 120 sheriff's staff, on today's numbers, that grosses out to about $3 million. So overall, on an annual basis, if averages stay the same for the jail, we would have a net savings of about $449,000 on direct jail operating costs. So, and the reason I say direct is this is just what it takes to purchase food, cook food, serve food. Some of the other savings that I can't give you a dollar today, but that will come into play over the course of the next fiscal year is we will no longer be maintaining the kitchen equipment. The Aramark will be maintaining it. We will no longer be replacing things such as rolling food carts at $13,000 a cart. So on the CIP capital improvement side, I believe we'll be picking up arguably on average probably $10,000 plus a year, maybe 20, 30,000. I'll get a 3 or 4 year average as we develop the budget for FY18, but tens of thousands of dollars in direct asset purchases will be now a cost avoidance for the county of El Paso, and the parts to maintain our food equipment, because Aramark is now assuming full responsibility and will maintain the equipment to meet the health standard and meet the operational requirements of the kitchen. So on today's number for a full year, just for direct, a little over, right at $450,000. I just want to make the court know what the net number is. It's still a savings.
Thank you so much, Wally. Betsy, were you able to find out?
Yes, ma'am. I was bombarded with messages, and also Melissa came in. All 21 employees were picked up by Aramark. There were 4 employees who retired from the county, and of those 4 who retired, 2, I think, also accepted jobs with Aramark.
Oh, great. Well, that's good to hear. I appreciate that, and I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Leon,
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty,
Aye.
Judge Escobar.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 13, Public Works. Approve and authorize the judge to sign contract with Allied Paving Company to perform the construction of bid item number 16055. Funds are available in account SR R&B Road Resurfacing. Contract number 2017-0196.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Norma Palacios, Public Works. Excuse me. This item is to address some road deficiencies on Ascension. It'll address the initial 21 deficiencies that have been identified. With the court's approval, we can get this work started within 10 days, and the work will be completed by the end of July.
Okay, Commissioners, any questions?
Move to approve.
Commissioner Leon?
I'm sorry, I've got so many
No,
questions today.
no problem.
Norma, I think we touched on it sometime back. This is to repair a roadway that was previously paved. Now, have we been able, and maybe this is for Christina Moore, and I see nodding, so, man, you're ahead of me. You're sort of like a radar. Have we been able to recover some of the loss that we suffered?
No, I spoke to our civil litigation department, and my understanding is that that particular company who had paved that road on Ascension went bankrupt, and so there was no opportunity there, at least from a legal assessment, to pursue any type of litigation at that point. I think that was several years ago, is my understanding, back in 2015.
The paving took place in 2014.
Oh, okay.
2014.
Right.
And they've gone out of business since then?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if they've gone out of business, but my understanding is that they were not in a good or sound financial condition at that time, and so the decision was made not to pursue, and of course, since that time, the statute of limitations has run.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Leon,
Aye.
Commissioner Stout,
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty,
Aye.
Judge Escobar.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Purchasing, item 14, approval of the selection of Hardy Heck Moore Incorporated for historical and architectural survey for the County of El Paso. Request for proposals number 16069 in the amount of $139,562.44. The necessary contract documents will be submitted to Commissioners Court at a later date for consideration and action. Purchasing approved on April 11th, 2017. Funding is available in account SR Tour Prom OPS Expenses Gen.
Good morning.
Good morning, Deborah Correjo, County Purchasing Agent. Item number 14 is the Historical and Architectural Survey. This was done as an RFP with the approval of the court. We had 5 distinct departments evaluating this, and Hardy Heck Moore was the highest scoring firm in this process, and we are recommending award of this to that firm.
Thank you so much. Commissioners, any questions?
Move to approve.
Betsy, do you want to tell us a little bit about the timeline? Do you have, once we approve this item?
Yes, ma'am. We will now begin the contract negotiations with Hardy Heck Moore, and we expect that we should be able to have a contract probably within 6 weeks back to the court. Leah's telling me definitely. And that once approved, we'll begin the work. It is expected to take between 12 to 18 months to complete the actual survey.
And it will be inclusive of all stakeholders, right? I mean, this firm, part of the negotiation of the contract will include that they will speak to everybody.
Yes, ma'am. They will be very inclusive, and one of the requirements in the specs and in the contract will be the stakeholder input.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Can we have a second, please?
I'll second.
Commissioner Leon?
He stepped out for just a sec.
Thank you. Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Escobar?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 15, approve and authorize the award of a John Deere 700K bulldozer for the County of El Paso Public Works Department utilizing Region 19 contracts number 15-7180 for a total purchase of $187,405.87 and authorize the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order. Purchasing approved on April 6, 2017. Funding is available in account SR R&B Cap Out Vehicles.
Ms. Carrejo.
For item number 15, Deborah Correjo, Purchasing Agent. Four Rivers Equipment offered the best pricing through the Region 19. By utilizing the cooperative on this, we were able to garner quite a big discount and gain trade-in value on current equipment. I recommend this award to Four Rivers through the Region 19.
Okay, any questions or a motion?
Move to approve.
There's a second.
Who made the second, please?
I did, Ms. Pizzak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Leon, is he still?
Still out.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Escobar?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 16, approve and authorize.
Thank you, Mr. Staple.
Approve and authorize the purchasing agent to solicit proposals for electronic poll book solution for the County of El Paso. The purchasing agent has reviewed use of the request for proposal RFP process for this service. Funds are available in account SR Elect SVC OPS Equipment.
For item number 16, Deborah Correjo, County Purchasing Agent. Part of the statute requires that if there is an RFP, a request for proposal process for any item other than high technology or insurance, that the purchasing agent review whether or not an RFP is the proper solicitation method and gain approval from the Commissioner's Court. In this case, I do believe, because of the complexity of this and the fact that the Elections Department is asking for a turnkey solution, a request for proposal process is absolutely the best way to go.
Okay, any questions or a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. And Commissioner Leon is absent. Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Escobar?
Aye. Thank you so
Motion
much.
carries. Budget and Finance, item 17. Approve amendment number 25 to the County of El Paso's 2016-2017 operating budget. This budgetary amendment will not increase or decrease the overall budget of $387,614,934.51.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Wally Hargrove from the Office of Budget and Fiscal Policy. All the amendments this week are with one department and within the general fund. Within juvenile probation detention, transferring $45,000 out of full-time salary, $10,000 of that going into operating expense medical and professional services medical. They've exhausted both line items this year. The amount they are transferring in to cover the balance of the fiscal year are consistent with the spending levels from FY16. Within the juvenile probation challenge, transferring $2,000 out of salaries into clothing. Likewise, this amount, the final amount that they have in that budget line item is consistent and actually a little bit less than what they spent in FY16. Juvenile detention kitchen, transferring $2,500 out of salary, $2,000 into operating expense general, $500 into food. Same comment, consistent with spending in FY16. And lastly, juvenile detention kitchen, transferring $2,500 into the supply line item to cover operating supplies. This is a new object code for juvenile probation for FY17. We will work with JPD on their FY18 request to see that the appropriations can be more in alignment with a 2-year spending trend in these categories for the balance for next year. Would ask for your favorable consideration.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Hagerty?
Aye.
Judge Escobar?
Aye.
Motion carries. Executive session, item 18. Commissioners Court will now recess into executive session to discuss the following items. Items 18A through 18C pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.087 and 551.071. The court will reconvene to take official action.
The Information Technology Department would like to remind users not to take the bait. Phishing is an attempt to obtain sensitive information such as usernames, passwords, and credit card details, often for malicious reasons by masquerading as a trustworthy entity in electronic communications. Phishing emails may contain links to websites that are infected with malware. Remember, do not open attachments or click on links from untrusted sources. Never send personal information in an email, and keep your firewall and antivirus software updated. Financial Recovery is a division under the Budget and Fiscal Policy Department. The Financial Recovery Division regains monies from those who have exhausted resources throughout the judicial process. The authorization for the recovery of spent resources is by court order. These are resources initially funded by taxpayers. Financial Recovery Division's goal is to assist in making the county and taxpayers whole by replenishing funds into the budget to optimize services to the public. For more information, please visit the El Paso County website.
The 346 District Court Judge Angie Juarez Barril started the El Paso Veterans Treatment Court program in 2012 for veterans and active service members that have been arrested and charged with a felony or misdemeanor criminal offense. To be considered for the specialty court, the statutory criteria includes be a veteran or current member of the United States Armed Forces, including a member of the Reserves, National Guard, or State Guard, and suffer from a brain injury, mental illness, or mental disorder, including PTSD, or be a victim of military sexual trauma, all occurring or resulting from military service. Call Sylvia Serna, Veterans Program Director, at 915-546-2119, or email her at sserna@epcounty.com for any information.
Commissioner Andrew Haggerty would like to invite you to his weekly breakfast meeting that takes place every Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. at Denny's Diner, located at 4690 Trans Mountain Road. Every week he has a different speaker who will be discussing topics of interest for the community. So if you live in the Northeast, West Side, or anywhere else in the county, come and join us for the breakfast meeting. As a reminder from the Information Technology Department, please don't save critical or sensitive data on your desktop. Instead, best practices is to save your data to your user-allocated home drive. This drive has safeguards preventing data loss. Again, this is an information technology-friendly reminder. Did you know the County of El Paso has a YouTube channel? Go to youtube.com and search the County of El Paso, Texas. There, you will find videos highlighting some of the departments within the county. Don't forget to like our videos and subscribe to the channel. The Information Technology Department would like to remind users not to take the bait. Phishing is an attempt to obtain sensitive information such as usernames, passwords, and credit card details, often for malicious reasons by masquerading as a trustworthy entity in electronic communications. Phishing emails may contain links to websites that are infected with malware. Remember, do not open attachments or click on links from untrusted sources. Never send personal information in an email, and keep your firewall and antivirus software updated. Financial Recovery is a division under the Budget and Fiscal Policy Department. The Financial Recovery Division regains monies from those who have exhausted resources throughout the judicial process. The authorization for the recovery of spent resources is by court order. These are resources initially funded by taxpayers. Financial Recovery Division's goal is to assist in making the county and taxpayers whole by replenishing funds into the budget to optimize services to the public. For more information, please visit the El Paso County website.
The 346 District Court Judge Angie Juarez Barril started the El Paso Veterans Treatment Court program in 2012 for veterans and active service members that have been arrested and charged with a felony or misdemeanor criminal offense. To be considered for the specialty court, the statutory criteria includes be a veteran or current member of the United States Armed Forces, including a member of the Reserves, National Guard, or State Guard, and suffer from a brain injury, mental illness, or mental disorder, including PTSD, or be a victim of military sexual trauma, all occurring or resulting from military service. Call Sylvia Serna, Veterans Program Director at 915-546-2119, or email her at sserna@epcounty.com for any information.
Commissioner Andrew Haggerty would like to invite you to his weekly breakfast meeting that takes place every Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. at Denny's Diner, located at 4690 Trans Mountain Road. Every week he has a different speaker who will be discussing topics of interest for the community. So if you live in the Northeast, West Side, or anywhere else in the county, come and join us for the breakfast meeting. As a reminder from the Information Technology Department, please don't save critical or sensitive data on your desktop. Instead, best practices is to save your data to your user-allocated home drive. This drive has safeguards preventing data loss. Again, this is an information technology-friendly reminder. Did you know the County of El Paso has a YouTube channel? Go to youtube.com and search the County of El Paso, Texas. There, you will find videos highlighting some of the departments within the county. Don't forget to like our videos and subscribe to the channel.
Betsy, you wanted to make a quick comment?
Yes, ma'am. One, I wanted to thank Ramon for his help on the food and beverage policy in the courthouse. And I also wanted to thank the court and the department head team and the elected officials who participated in strategic planning this last week.
Thanks, Betsy. Appreciate everyone. All right, that's it. We're adjourned. Have a great day.